Hey guys, welcome back to Confirmation. Hope you had a great winter break, had some fun, drank some hot cocoa, enjoyed Christmas. We're back. I hope you're ready to dive in. I am. To be quite honest, I actually already recorded this video, but had just a dumb moment and deleted it. So it's one of those days. Have you guys ever done that? Where you just make a really dumb mistake and have to do a lot of work to get it back. That's okay. God's got it. If He's gonna have me redo this, then He can handle the rest of things that come at me today. So let's dive in. Okay, so have you guys ever done an escape room? So if you haven't, it's kind of like you get trapped in a room with your friends, they lock it, and you have to do a series of codes and puzzles to work your way out and like complete the story, whatever it is. So it's super fun. And what's really fun is seeing the different people that you go with and how they react. So sometimes you go with a group of people and you're like the hardcore, let's go, let's get this done, and go really intense on the puzzles and you want to beat the record. Or maybe you're that person who comes in and you're like, I'm just going to lay back because I know the people I'm with are going to go really hardcore and I just need to kind of be there to supervise and take it easy. Or maybe you're the person who's like, I'm just gonna have fun and goof around and mess with this whole situation. You know who you are. I was that person once. One time my only contribution to the escape room was hitting the big red button that took 5 minutes off our time. So whoever you are, maybe escape rooms sound really fun to you. Maybe they sound like a nightmare to you. But we all handle pressure very differently, especially in escape rooms and especially when it comes to difficult situations. So maybe you've never been to an escape room, but I'm guessing you know a thing or two about dealing with stress, worry, and problems, right? We've all been there. Sometimes life is very hard. Sometimes life hurts. It's stressful. And life can be so stressful, it feels like you're locked in a room with no way out, kind of like an escape room, only it's not for fun. And I get it. I've been there, and I bet you have too. And that is why we are starting a new series today called Escape Room. Wow. Surprise. You guessed it. So over the next 3 weeks, we're going to be talking about what to do when life feels kind of awful, when life's too much to handle, and when you'd rather stay in bed than deal with it. So I know it's kind of a bummer to focus on difficult times, but you know, we've all gone through them. We all have been going through them with what's going on in the world. And the problem is that when life gets difficult, that's when we're most likely to make a bad decision. So I remember a time like this in middle school, actually, in 7th grade. So I had these two friends, Sarah and Samantha, who rode my bus, and I just really wanted to be friends with them. They seemed to like me and hang out with me, and we were around each other a lot. But the thing is that they did not treat me very nice. They would kind of bully me and make fun of me. And these were things I thought like friends did to just kid around, but it really was mean-spirited and not nice. And the thing is that I was frustrated with that, so I would actually end up taking that and putting it on my family and my friends who actually did love me. For example, my mom would ask me, why are you hanging out with them? They seem to not really be treating you nice. And I would get really mad and kind of lash out at her. And one of my friends even said, you know, I don't think I can hang out with you anymore because you're being really mean to me for no good reason. And that was when I was finally like, you know, I've been treating you horribly and I'm so sorry. And really, it's not because of you or anything you did, but it's because of how I feel over here, because my friends were treating me terribly. But that didn't make an excuse for what I did. This reminds me of a time that I was actually in middle school in 7th grade, and these two friends, Samantha and Sarah. So they rode my bus, they lived near me, and I really wanted to be friends with them because they seemed cool and we lived in the same area. It made sense. Thing is, they were not very good friends. They would make fun of me, they would bully me, and were very mean-spirited, but I just kind of ignored it. And the thing is, I was really frustrated with that and really hurt by that, but I let it be taken out on my family and my friends who did love me. For example, my mom would ask me, why are you hanging out with them? And I'd get really defensive and angry and be like, why are you in my business? And really mean to her. And same with my best friend, to the point where she said, hey, I don't know if I can hang out with you because you're really mean right now and I don't know why. So I was hurt and I was taking it out on the people who love me, but that was no excuse for why I hurt them. So I bet you've experienced something like that before. You might not have made the same mistake that I did, but you probably know what it's like to be in a similar situation. So I had to find out the hard way that bad times can lead to bad decisions, right? We almost never do stupid things when life is going great. At least maybe like a few little things, but nothing like that. It's when we're feeling stressed or under pressure that we do things that hurt others or maybe even hurt ourselves. Almost every time that anyone is mean, rude, selfish, or destructive, it's usually because that person is dealing with some kind of hurt. Maybe you respond to pain by lashing out in anger at others. Maybe your mom, your teachers, or even your best friend, kind of like I did. Or maybe you deal with pain by being reckless. You break stuff, you take risks, or do other stupid things that could physically harm you or someone else. Maybe you've turned your pain inward and made choices that harm your own body. Maybe a few of you have already turned to drinking or drugs or have seen people who have done that. Anything to make you forget what you're feeling and that hurt. And are any of those things going to help the pain actually go away? No! The thing is, you're going to wake up this next morning, the next day, the next week, and the pain is still going to be there. It's not going to go away. So at this point, you're probably wondering, so what? What does it matter if I want to escape? You think that, at least by escaping, you don't have to deal with what you're facing anymore. I totally get it. Guys, life is hard. The pain is real, and what you're doing to escape may make you feel better for a minute. But the problem with all these ways of escaping and dealing with hurt is that eventually it only brings on more pain. None of them offer a permanent solution. They're all just temporary fixes. You aren't truly relieving your pain, you're just putting it off until you feel it later. Another problem is this: not only can bad times lead to bad decisions, but bad times can also lead to bad beliefs. In other words, you're beginning to doubt God's goodness, His presence, or even His existence. And us who have a relationship with God might even blame Him or be bitter during painful times. Maybe if you feel like you're far away from God or you haven't made an attempt to know Him yet, you're probably thinking that this is exactly why you aren't into God. Because why would a God worth trusting allow these things to happen? Honestly, guys, that's why a lot of people turn to things to find relief, to escape. Because when life is hard, sometimes God just doesn't seem like He's there. Or even if He is, it sure doesn't feel like He cares about us very much, so instead we run to other things for relief. So, how are we supposed to deal with the hard times that we're going through? How are we supposed to deal with it when we just want to escape? And what are we supposed to believe about God during all of this? Well, thankfully, the Bible has a lot to say about what to do, how to think, and ways to respond when life hurts and we just want to escape, things that are going to help us. In the Old Testament, we're told about how the nation of Israel went through a very difficult time. The Israelites had rebelled against God, and their disobedience had caused them to be under nearly constant attack by their enemies. I mean, it was bad. It was really bad. God had even told His people that He was eventually going to stop protecting them and let them be taken captive entirely. Things were going to get really, really, really bad. But there was something God wanted His people to know when hard times hit. So God sent a man named Isaiah, a prophet, to deliver His message to His people. So listen to these words that God told Isaiah to share with His people. This is what God wanted His people to remember in the midst of pain and doubt. Isaiah 46, 3-4. Listen to me, descendants of Jacob, all you who remain in Israel. I've cared for you since you were born. Yes, I cared for you before you were born. I will be your God throughout your life. Until your hair is white with age, I made you, and I will care for you. I will carry you along and save you. Okay, wow, did you guys hear God's heart there? Pay attention. When the Israelites were hurt and in pain and feeling alone, we see a picture of God that some of us don't always see. We sometimes think God seems distant, but this God who is speaking to the Israelites seems close. We may think God seems uninterested, but this God seems very tuned in. He said, I made you, I will care for you, and I will carry you along and save you. And the thing is this, God didn't just feel this way about the Israelites. He created and cares for us too. This is the truth that we need to remember. When life is hard, God says He is with you. He doesn't just sit idly or judging from above. He is literally with us. He promises that in our baptism. So we know He's there because He loves us. He went to the cross for us. And He cares more than anyone in the world, to the point of death on the cross. So the question isn't if God cares or if He's there. He is. So my question is this for you. When life hurts, what's your escape? Are there bad decisions that you tend to make when you're hurt? I know the pain that you feel is real, and the situations you feel are overwhelming. And I also know that there's ways that you try to escape that might actually work for a while, but they don't last. They're temporary. And sometimes you even find yourself feeling worse than you did before. When I feel this way, I like to describe it as feeling locked up. It's like you have all these things going inside of you and you can't get them out. But the cool thing is that we have a key for opening that up. And that key is God. When we feel locked up, God wants to help us open our hearts and let go of what we're keeping inside. He takes that from us and fills it with peace and love and joy because he took that on the cross for us. So this week, rather than turning to your usual escape plan when things get tough, in your moment of pain, try to focus on God, something other than your typical escape. Find a song or a Bible verse and write that on your mirror or put it in your pocket. Do a prayer station, take a walk and listen to some praise music, or even just talk to God. Do something physical to turn your mind towards God rather than away. Because God loves you so much, and he doesn't want you to escape from him. He wants you to escape to him. When you feel alone, God is there. When you feel weary and tired, he will carry you. When you feel trapped, he'll save you. He already did on the cross. So think about this question. When life hurts, what can I do to escape to God rather than from him? Go to the Google form, and remember we got a Zoom coming up. So check your emails, make sure your parents are checking your emails because I want to see you there. I miss you guys. I can't wait to see you, and your small group leaders are really excited to see you too. Have a great week, guys, and remember to double check before you delete.